Right on and welcome to Rauta's Ask Me Anything video. This is as much as about straight questions and straight comments taken from the comment section in Rauta videos, various questions, various discussions and so forth. And since we're pretty much celebrating 2,100 views by now, I decided, what the hell, I'm gonna do a little bit of answering because there were a lot of questions, a lot of comments, some trolling and whatnot. And just to celebrate these views, thank you guys for rolling with us. Cheers to that. Love Rob, by the way. So I've piled a few questions, 15 to be honest, and I'm gonna answer them in particular order which I have put down on the list. So the first question or claim rather is, am I a Nazi or right-wing activist, or right-wing in political way anyway? No, I am not. I've already stated that quite a few times. I have no political connections, no ties, no interest really. I am not a right-winger, I am not a left-winger. I try to stay away from the politics, even though I know there are claims that one cannot just, step away from the politics. You're always part of the politics whether you want it or not. So I choose to accept that. Yes, I guess I am in that way tied to politics, even though I don't want to be. I have friends in both parties, so to say, if we decide to do it in a black and white way, that they sort of, well, left and right. However, I have some opinions where I agree with the leftist guys, and some opinions where I agree with the right-wing guys, but usually both of these camps, so to speak, are not the type of topics or opinions or whatever that actually are interest to me. No, so I'm not a political person. I don't want to be tied to that stuff, and please stop making those stupid claims. Just because I have a bald head nowadays doesn't mean that it's a sign of anything. It's not about leukemia, it's not about being a Nazi, it's nothing that I'm losing my hair. I guess I don't. The thing is, I must, this answer as a bonus question. Why did I cut my long hair, which I had for so many years, before and after finish army service? The thing is, martial arts and long hair are a very bad combo. So I eventually got fed after, I don't know, 10 years or so, no, 11 years. I got fed up that my long hair was always stuck in some places, so I just decided to go the other way, and thus this is usually the maximum length I keep my hair. Not that it interests anybody, but just to answer the riddle here. Now the question, or actually claim number 2, was by some troll. Do I have a drinking problem? Yes, I do, as you can see. No, this is the only glass which you can see. Not too much to drink. But I decided to get it here because it does good for your throat, and I do enjoy good whiskey when it's done in little amounts. So my only drinking problem is that I don't drink much these days. I don't feel that very tempting these days. Not only because I'm getting older, but also because it kind of, I don't just, enjoy it that much nowadays. And it also is kind of a nuisance when it comes to lifting. So I do have a drinking problem. I cannot drink as much as I could possibly enjoy having all those cool craft beers and Scotch whiskies, but I don't want to get drunk these days. But I do when I'm doing some work trips. It's related to my day job, so I do drink down, sometimes, not too just like occasionally, yeah, not too often, but still more than I actually enjoy to do. The third question is pretty much the same, or actually yet another claim that, do you have a drugs problem? Or there was some troll comment about it. Well, no. I could actually apply the same answer to this one as the alcohol one. No, my only drug problem is that drugs are illegal in Finland, so it's kind of, bothersome to get any. I mean, I've traveled to, say, places like Amsterdam and enjoyed some good weed there. So, yeah, if it was legal, I would probably use it. But other than that, not really. So, there was a claim, number 4 actually, there was a claim that there are no anti-Islam bans, that why all the bans are such pussies or whatever, that they are, I mean black metal bans obviously, that they are just, anti-Christian and not going against Islam. Well, I wanna correct that mistake. There are many bans which are, overall against religions, and some bans are more openly towards anti-Islam than rather than anti-Christianity. Some of those bans are more vocal than others. Some just have them written between the lines or in their lyrics, and some are just openly anti-Islam. I don't know why it's not that common, but I guess the one thing is reason to this is that many times when a person or let's say faction is saying something like anti-Islam, that is so often mistaken as a racial or anti-culture thing, where it is as seen as anti-religion or should be seen as anti-religious. So when these two different things becomes like mistaken, like the correlation fails, and people don't actually cannot separate two things from each other, like race or culture and religion, then these kind of mistakes are made. It's not like anti-Christianity is it like anti-white or anti-black or whatever. I mean, it's just like people don't understand the difference between that, and that causes confusion, and that probably is the reason why mainstream or kind of a semi-mainstream, I mean like the bands which are not exactly underground anymore, they don't want to go there because that would just cause a mass hysteria or more problems. Kind of what we've seen with bands like Tokyo, Watan, and lots of others have to reply about, no, we are not Nazis, no, we are not that, we are not sexist, we are not whatever. So yeah, there are the anti-Islam bands, but that is not so much underlined. Many people actually want to do that more, but some are afraid and some just don't care, because for example in northern parts of Europe it's not like Islam is here as much as Christianity is. So those poor attempts to say that it is done because people are cowards are just like clueless. I mean, things might be different if most of these bands were coming, I don't know, Middle East, or I don't know, at least parts of the world where Islam is bigger. But then again, there might be just some fear of being attacked, death or whatever. But I mean, like I don't know. To be honest, there are bans. Do some googling, do some research, find out, and you'll find evidence. And if you don't make stupid claims as such. There are no anti-Islam bans. Now, next question or slash comment. There was a comment if I have heard the new Ad Hominem album, Napalm for All, which I guess was released recently, and whether I would be, doing an interview with these guys. Interview is possible if I just get into the same city where the band is playing, which at this point with this budget of the channel is bound to be Finland. And have I heard it? Nope, not yet. I've downloaded it as a digital promo in mid-February, so a couple of months ago, but I still have months of queue with digital promos. That means I started December 2017 digital promos just today. So that much queue, yeah, some 280 digital promos as it is, and some 60 physical ones. And as you know already, for Rauta I'm doing physical ones here. Digital ones I just go through and might and sometimes send an email to a label that can you provide us a physical copy so we can actually review it for Rauta. And if that's not possible, then I'm just gonna skip it, and that's all. Question number 6. Can we do an Archcode interview? Well, good news for people who are Archcode fans. We have already agreed to do that during this summer. It looks like May or June. There's some technical issues, basically the lack of hardware at my end here in my home city, because our camera crew lives in a different city. But May or June, can't promise the exact date yet, but we have agreed to do that. So Archgo interview should be out this summer. Um, Question number 7: can I do a Goat Moon interview? Well, I got the phone number for Mr. Main Man of the band, but not yet gotten a reply regarding that. I hope to do that some point. I know it's a very controversial band. There will be lots of shit thrown when and if I get to do that interview, but I hope to do that because it's important band. It's not like I can agree with the political views of the band and what they do at gigs, but I mean, doesn't stop me from doing an interview anyway. And I know the main guy. We're in good terms and all that stuff. Even though we are not close friends or anything like that. But Goat Mean interview, we're looking into the possibility of that. And then there was an interesting question that is Finland a Scandinavian country or is it Slavic country? To be exactly accurate, Scandinavia is kind of the part of the peninsula, which includes Norway, Sweden, and I think Denmark is also counted in that area, whereas Finland is, from the other on the other side of the sea that basically lies between the Sweden and Finland, obviously. And that is why Finland is not in a Scandinavian country. However, sometimes it's used in a broader context to mean all the Nordic countries. But the Nordic countries as a term is more accurate because it includes Finland and Iceland as well. And when it comes to the language of Finnish, I know that we have some similarities with Hungarian roots, which is pretty weird considering how much more south Hungary is. And then we have also some similarities with Estonian. And that is actually quite a few similar words. And some Finns and Estonian people can actually find a, not similar language, but I mean like not the same language, but some similarities anyway. So I cannot answer that more accurately because I honestly don't know. But that should give you a little bit of idea what's going on. And you can read Wikipedia about the Nordic countries and Scandinavia if you want to find out more, and then you find sources. Then there was this question that ever heard about a band called Cannabis Corpse. Someone was criticizing about the video I made about humorous metal bands, and I was explaining why those suck in my opinion. Well, they do, mostly anyway. And I think I mentioned Cannabis Corpse there. I have heard it, and musically they're quite good, even though I know they are kind of like a funny side project with municipal waste and stuff. And their death metal with flirts with Cannibal Corpse and Dude and such. I mean, it's musically nice, and for a while it kind of can give me smiling and stuff. I mean, good production, good vocals, good riffs and all that stuff. But I mean, it would be better band if it was a non-humorous band, at least in my opinion. But that is one of the exceptions. Cannabis Corpse is better than most humorous bands, which are just waste of my time and yours too, probably. Then there was a question, what do I mean by rally English? Because I used that to explain why Finns do talk like that. I mean, I'm not atypical in the way I speak English. I've been accused of sounding too American by my friend who is half Finnish, half Australian. And he's a native English speaker. I am not, which you can already guess by my speech. But I mean, like many people which I interview in Finland, I mean, they are really sounding like very Finnish, very typical Finns. And I don't mean in a bad way. We Finns are a little bit embarrassed, by other Finns sound. I mean, that's a really common thing. And sometimes Finns are, unless they're a little bit drunk, they're kind of embarrassed to speak even, English because they're kind of ashamed, how they sound in the other areas. But then again, when I was in the States for the last time, 2013, and we were driving in San Diego, and then there was this cab driver who totally loved my friend's rally English. And I mean, that is the kind of an accent that some people totally like, but Finns usually laugh at it, and I don't know if it's actually a problem to most non-native English speakers or even native English speakers. I mean, it doesn't matter. Everybody speaks the way they do, and the main thing is to get understood. I mean, uh, we can make fun of everybody. We can talk about it like an Indian accent, and that is very funny. And then we can talk about all Swedes they talk like this because they kind of like sing this song. A German accent, it's so powerful and hostile. You make me so angry. Oh, yes, John, you're a friend of mine. You take some vodka and drink, and come to party with the Russian black metal bench and so forth. You get the idea. And Finnish rally English is like, where the road was very slippery, and then I lost my track over there, and then I put some Darktron in my CD player, and you get the idea. And this rally English term was, I guess, coined by somebody who was actually listening to English interviews of Finnish race drivers or rally drivers. Markku Alén, which is a very famous Finnish rally driver, he kind of has this very typical Finnish accent, and he was doing these interviews back in the, I think, 80s. And if you just put on YouTube search Markku Alén interviews, you can pretty much figure it out. And also that same applies to Finnish Formula 1 drivers. I mean, I don't know if you know, but Finns have been quite good and successful in Formula 1. Not that I follow that, but I know because it's a big deal here anyway. And those guys like Mika Salo, Mika Häkkinen, Kimi Räikkönen, they all talk like the Finnish rally English, and they are very very untalkative. I mean, they give very short answers, and it's kind of hilarious in a way. But that's rally English. That's in Finnish Wikipedia. There's actually an article about rally English, but that's not translated. Maybe somebody should, but that's how it goes. So it's actually related to Finnish rally drivers. So 5 more questions. I was also asked to interview Vatine at Steelfest 2018. I really hope to do that. That's one of my top hopes list. But to be honest, I don't know if they are open for interviews, and if they are, will they do with us? Because last fall I did a Vatine video where I was kind of criticizing, or more like questioning, whether they have capitalized themselves, and then there was some other stuff as well before doing the actual review. And Eric from Vatine actually sent me an email kind of getting back to me. He was not mean or calling me douchebag or anything like that, but kind of you could read between the lines that he didn't exactly like my video, which I can kind of understand, because I saw some angry Vatine fans coming at me because of my comments and questioning, which is totally fine, by the way. I kind of like when fans defend their target of their fandom. But I mean, Vatine had gone through some controversial stuff recently, and already in the last autumn. So I don't know if he's pissed, and if he knows what this channel is all about, he might just decline my my attempt to interview them. But if, I don't know, if he's a cool guy, then he might just, not give a rat's ass and just do it. Let's hope to do it. It's a very, on topic band, I mean, considering their gigs and their album in January. So let's hope I can do that. It's one of my to-do list. I hope to actually get that done, but we'll see. And Baise Mahashe, I don't know how to say that even. That interview was also asked if I could do, and unfortunately it's not very likely. There are a couple of reasons. First of all, we got to do bands on Friday, and they're more important bands, or more interesting bands in my opinion, which I would like to do. And also because I don't know this band that well that it's so easy or interesting for me to actually do that, but we'll see. That is not definitely no, but it's just unlikely. Depends on what other bands we can do. And then there was also if I could do a Destroyer 666 interview, and that is one of my hope to do list top candidates with Martine. And the reason is I'm a fan of the band. I've been liking them since their very first mini CD, While it's the Prince of the World. And I actually met the guys in a couple of times. They actually came to drink at my house in 2003 or 2004. So I kind of know them, but not in the terms of like being friends, no. But I mean, like, that could be possible. They are lean back, laid back guys. So who knows? We'll see. And then there was a question where my anti-Antifa t-shirt was gotten from. And a friend, actually Spellgoth of Horna and Baptism and whatnot, he actually, I think, ordered them online some, say, 10, 12 years ago. Probably more than 10, but anyway, something around that age. And there was some online shop dedicated to those kind of shirts. I don't know if it exists anymore, and I don't even remember country. Guess it was Czech Republic or something. Anyway, that's where it's gotten from, and if people want to just get those kind of shirts, you can just pretty much Google it up and find out for yourself. And then the last question was that if I could interview Clandestine Blaze from Finland. Well, I'm gonna say, even though I know Mikko Aspa of Clandestine Blaze and Northern Heritage, we've known each other for almost 20 years by now, and we're in good terms and all that stuff. But he declined when I was actually asking them I think a couple of years ago. I guess the basic line is that he doesn't feel comfortable to do a video interview, or maybe not just interested in this media. The same applies to MWA, by the way, MGLA, the Polish band. Because they were traveling with Mikko Aspa, because some MGLA and MWA guys were playing in Clandestine Blaze lineup and so forth. So, and other way around, I guess. And they also were not interested to do interview. And curiously enough, I was actually online talking with MWA guy some, not 20 years ago, but some 15 plus years ago. So we kind of actually had the online connection back in the days, but not like good acquaintances or anything like that. But anyway, I got to talk, and Mikko actually introduced us to each other and blah blah blah. And then I had to ask whether a interview would be cool or not, and they said unfortunately no. And well, same applies to bands like P-Hexen and Warlock also, which were asked if I could do, but they politely said thanks but no thanks. This is not the media they want to be part of. And well, yeah, Graveland guys said a couple of years ago in Steelfest that sorry, no, not good enough English. So these are things that sometimes just come into the way of interviews, and it's not always so easy with black metal bands. Also, I was asked as a bonus question or whatever, that if I could do a Nocturnal Mortem interview for Rauta at Steelfest. I'm totally looking into it. I hope to do that as well, but like I said, cannot guarantee. I'm afraid of the Graveland kind of reply that no good enough English, or maybe this is not just the media they want to be part of. Who knows? But I have questions already going with the promoter of the festival, and let's see how it goes. I guess that's enough for this AMA. Already there 23 minutes so long. So I guess I say good night, goodbye, and should you have any more questions, I will be replying you in text messages as well, and if should there be enough questions to do this kind of video later on, I will do it. Thank you for your questions, thank you for your comments. And piss off all the trolls, we don't need you, but I guess you need us. Anyway, cheers and good night, and enjoy more Rauta videos coming your way. Cheers, bye.